Here's what I want to talk about today: Thanksgiving and what I learned about hosting and hosting anxiety. I want to talk about my therapy appointment, and I feel like I'm an old hat at this, an old dog doesn't learn new tricks, and I just learned some new tricks in therapy last week. I want to talk about advice on. Oh, I'm hearing that my mic's a little funky. Let me try taking it out. How does this sound? If you're here, tell me if you can hear me okay. And if so, I shall continue. Hi, everybody. Come on in. We're doing a live. We're talking about hostess anxiety. We're talking about what I've learned in therapy. And then I'm going to need your advice on how you celebrate a book. I always like to remind you that I got a book coming out, but that's not what we're talking about. So I sound far away, but not as bad as the mic. Dang, saying I'll get closer. Is that better? Welcome. Thank you for telling me that. I think this is the best I can do for now. I have a brand new phone and it's kicking my butt. There's you're not logged into anything when you get a new phone. It is an ADHD person's nightmare, which is funny. I just I was just sitting with a girlfriend yesterday who said, yeah, every night I close all my tabs in my computer. I was like, what? Only a psychopath closes every tab on their computer. I guess she's a psychopath because she does it and she says it's very relaxing. She's like, the day is over. Goodbye. All you tabs that I thought I'd get to. I just feel like then I would be spending an hour in the morning opening them back up. Are you a tab closer? I hope not. I hope that wouldn't be you. Or are you like me and there's 100 tabs because you're like, no, I need to do that. And I don't know if I'll ever come back to it if I don't have the tab open. Let's talk about Thanksgiving. What was your role? How'd you do? I I was I was a hot mess. I had family here for a week. My parents were staying with me, and then my brothers were staying at an Airbnb with their families, like walking distance. And somehow, every night, it was my house that people came to. And I was running around, filling the dishwasher, emptying it, wiping down things, getting the green machine out to get some chocolate that had come on the couch. And the whole time I was just doing all the things I teach in calm class, right? And just trying to stay calm and care about the people and not the things. But I was very reminded of my mother-in-law who would get hyperventilating and sweaty when people were in the house. Like she desperately wanted them there, but then her body would betray her. And I was feeling a lot more empathy for my mother-in-law than I've ever felt. And there was my mom watching me scuttling, wiping up my brother's dog, not once, not twice, peed on my fluffy rug. And then he pooped just to let me know who was in charge. And I was babysitting his dog because the Airbnb. And I'm cleaning it up and I'm just, it's fine. It's fine. Let's just make sure this baby gate doesn't let the dog upstairs. And about 4 days into it, my mother says, wow, I am so impressed. And we're all aching to hear that we've impressed our mothers. I'm so impressed. You are taking care of everything and you haven't yelled once, which is interesting because I'm not a yeller anymore, per se. I'm trying to make superlatives like I've never yelled at my mother. Oh, I've yelled at my mother. I'm a spicy one. I'm a spicy one teaching you how to parent spicy ones. So, of course, I've yelled at my mother. But it was interesting to me because that would be her way of releasing stress, would be to yell at everyone, and then we would pretend it never happened. I've done a heck of a lot of work to not yell, find other ways to expel my anxiety and my nervousness and my lack of control of how everything's going. And that pause was that I want to be truthful with you. And sometimes that involves alcohol or an edible. Let us name the things that we go to cope. Some of us go onto a phone when we're in the middle of family and just think, oh, call God, take me away. I come from a family that uses a lot of alcohol and drugs and is very neurodiverse without knowing it. So everybody's just doing the best they can. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing the best they can. So Thanksgiving, I learned some things because I've never hosted people that long. And even though I'm the eldest daughter, are you the eldest daughter? I have never been, I've not been true to type in that I've kind of been, they've called me the white sheep in my family because I am the least involved with risky behavior. Um, and So I just haven't been the host for this group. And here I was doing it. And I learned that when someone says, like I have asked before, like, oh, can I help you with this? And why do women always say, oh, no, I've got it? And I guess because of last week, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm not going to require consent to help a hostess when I'm at her house. I'm just going to fill the dishwasher, even though I won't do it perfectly right. I'm going to do the little things that I can do. It's just so hard to empty someone else's dishwasher because it's like, where do things go? And I just so appreciate it. There's a couple times where one of my sister-in-laws just went in and put everything in, and I didn't care how it came out. So I want to be that friend that insists on helping after having brothers who each help in their own way, but you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving? I'd love to hear it in the comments. Write me a message. What was your role? Are you the person that gets to show up to the Thanksgiving, or are you the one creating it? I threw a bunch of money at it and did and paid for pre-prepared foods. And even then, I was totally freaking out about how to make it all happen. But my brother is more of a cook than I, and he was like, "We're going to decant all this plastic stuff into all of your oven-safe containers." And then we're going to just start slowly cooking everything up to heat. And then I got a heating pad from a friend, and I bought another one myself. And so it all worked out. But the best tip for Thanksgiving was inviting someone from outside the party, outside the family to come. People that didn't grow up with these people, who don't feel triggered when so and so makes a comment. And let me tell you, if you know me, you know I'm like very tender, very Enneagram 4, very like deep feeler. And the day before Thanksgiving, I was like, oh, I forgot who I was with. And I said, oh my gosh, because everyone was at my house yet again. Tomorrow at Thanksgiving, let's all bring a poem. Let's all read a poem and talk about how it makes us feel. And you know what my brother said? Oh yeah, or we could not. And everybody laughed like middle school boys, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this isn't the crowd. But guess what? Those mother cluckers did bring poems. It's like they had, and this happens to you if you were a mom of humans, is you suggest this thing, like, let's all share gratitude around the table, or, hey, we're going to tell brother our favorite time with him. Um, get ready. Like, you suggest these things that we know are bonding and connect, and then everybody else gets to push against them because that's just how it is. But it is grueling, right? So that happened. My mother started reciting a Shakespeare sonnet she had memorized. I'm 54. I didn't know she'd ever memorized Shakespeare. So it worked out, even if I did have to be teased along the process. I got a pretty thick skin now. Uh, Number two thing I want to tell you about is therapy. I went to therapy and I was complaining about my husband, as I do, which is good. It's good for our marriage that I go to therapy and I dump everything out that doesn't feel just or satisfying from a 22-year union. And I was telling her how my husband is so open to people who are all over the political spectrum, and how he actually pushes back if you come too hard in one direction. And I happen to be more progressive, liberal, whatever you want to call me, bleeding heart. But if I bring that to him, he's like, well, the other side is, and he always is sort of playing that middle ground. And I find it frustrating. I want him to get really upset with me. And yet, I secretly know that him not getting upset with me and not joining me in the, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart, late stage capitalism, we're all dying. He won't join me in that. And because of that, I think I have better mental health than I would if he was like, let's sit underneath the desk and figure out how we're going to get out of America. Like he's like, no, we're good. So shout out to him that he is grounded and a white male with lots of privilege that I can cling to. But I was telling my therapist all these things like, and she said, sounds like your husband has a higher tolerance for difference than you do. And I was like, can you say that again? Because I like to frame myself as being more evolved than him. So what could you possibly mean that he has a higher tolerance for difference than I do? And lo and behold, she explained that I guess it originally came from, it came from a psychiatrist in the 40s, but then Brene Brown sort of invigorated this idea of tolerance for difference. And that the more we can be open to people who think differently than us, the more we can impact them and influence them. As you know, we're kind of going into our separate silos here in America. So I appreciated that new reframe of my husband, that he's okay sitting at a table with someone who thinks the opposite or votes the opposite, or he's okay with me, like, let's take politics aside. He's okay with me being just a very different human than him. He is structured. I'm like, oh, let's try it a different way each time. I can't remember how we did it last, right? And he is okay with that. Whereas I'm looking at him like, why doesn't he do things the way I do them? So I'm working on my tolerance for difference. Are you proud of me? And that looks like pausing and going, oh, wow, I'm having a bodily reaction to this thing that somebody else is saying because it's different from what I know or what I think. But what could happen if I could sit with it just a little bit longer? Because anytime you're going to change anybody's mind, anytime you're going to influence a child, you got to first connect. Got to feel like you're on the same team, that you're listening, that you're being there. So I'm working on it. May we all have greater tolerance for difference. Third thing I wanted to tell you is that I've been like blocked about how to celebrate my book when it comes out. It comes out in February 10th, Parenting Spicy One. And I'm like, I know there's this expectation of what a book launch looks like. You know, you see it. Are you watching Pluribus? I'm watching Pluribus, and there's a scene in it where an author is like signing books and handing them back to these people who are like, oh, she's amazing. Oh. My ego really wants that. But it turns out that first-time authors pay for that out of their pocket. So if I go to a city, I'm flying myself there. I'm getting a hotel. I'm trying to get people to go. It's a whole rigmarole. And that takes a lot of executive function that your girl does not have. So I've been thinking about, I don't know what I'm going to do, and feeling a sense of dread about, like, kind of raising about this day. And then through some conversations with friends. Side note, I have 3 different masterminds that I meet with. Mastermind is just a fancy name for a small group of people committed to your success who are at the same sort of peer level as you. It's like there's no one person who's telling everybody what to do. So I've got one that has met for 8 years. The people in it have changed over the years, but they were like, "What's the problem?" Because I was like, "I don't know how to I want the day to be special. You know what the day feels like when you launch a book? Like your 50th or 40th or 60th birthday. And if you don't have plans on that day, your inner victim can wake up and go, wow, nobody cares, right? So you got to make plans. You got to, same with Mother's Day. You know me, I'm a big proponent in saying, if you want that day to be special, specifically ask for what you want from the people that can help you get there. If you want there to be things in your Christmas stocking, if you celebrate Christmas, you better assign somebody to fill it. Okay? Because they can't read your mind. Nobody's thinking about everybody the way you are. So for a while, I did have my husband and kids go fill my stocking, but lately I've been filling it myself and making them watch me open each thing. A lipstick and my favorite shade. I'm very dramatic as I open up my stocking. So back to what I was saying. So on the launch day, I realized I was kind of like putting together multiple information, like what I was going to do in terms of going to different cities and what I was going to do on the day of launch. And what I realized I wanted was a gathering of women that are super close to me that would almost like say a blessing over the book. Like I can see it's almost like candlelight in the dark. Maybe we're all wearing white. I get to decide. It's my party. And one of the women in my mastermind was like, I said, like a book blessing. And they said, it actually sounds like you're describing a birthing ceremony. And I was like, you know, when somebody names that thing that is true for you that you haven't had the confidence or maybe the awareness to name, I immediately started crying. And they're like, you want to have a birthing ceremony? I was like, yes, I hate that about me, but yes, I do want to have a birthing ceremony for my book because it's a big deal and it's going to be out in the world and then I'm going to move on. And people with ADHD are not great celebrators. It's something about the time blindness and the object impermanence. We just do it and then we go to the next thing. And I want to mark this before I move on, right? So anyway, I'm going to have a birth blessing. No, I'm going to have a book birthing where what I didn't want was that thing that happens with women when we get together and we drink wine and we get higher and higher pitched voices and everybody's loud and discordant and talking about random things. That's fun in its own way. That's not what I wanted on the day of my book launch. So I'm just feeling so much relief that I figured it out. And I will liken that for you with the relief of figuring out what makes the holidays special for you. Like, have you decided what has to happen in December for it to feel that replenishing, peaceful sacredness that we all want? Like, what are some things that need to happen? I like to gather my people around the kitchen table and say, what is 2 things that need to happen in December for you to feel like it was a great Christmas? And it's always amazing. They name things that I'm like, yeah, but what about when I break my neck to do this other thing? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's good if you want. And it's like, well, if you don't care about it and it takes so much energy from me, then I won't do it. I'll just do these things that you've explicitly stated are important for Christmas. What's important for Christmas from you? I would love to know. For me, I realize it's singing some Christmas carols with other humans as opposed to my cat who does love when I sing. So I'm going to do that. I already did it, actually. I was at a Christmas party on Saturday, and we started, the host started playing the piano, and then the other host, the wife, started handing out lyrics, and then she had a tray with reading glasses for all the old fogies like me. And it was just a moment of singing and looking around, and then I went the next day to a choir in Long Beach State, Cal State's choir, very professional. And at one point, they had us all sing. And I had sang on Friday night with my book clubs overnight. And I was like, I am on a bender of singing with people 3 days in a row at my book club thing. Oh, I meant to bring it to show it to you. We made the coolest thing. We made an ornament with inside the glass ornament, we put all the books we've read together. There were 99 books. Somebody took every book cover and put them on a sheet of paper in color, printed them out in cardstock, and then we glued them on the opposite side of other books. And so I will put a picture of it up on my Substack notes, but it was really cute. And now I have like a reminder of every book I've read with this book club of mine. Does a book club count as a mastermind? If so, I have 4 masterminds. I am convinced, this is my final thought, and then I'll let you go. I'm convinced that friendships as an adult only happen when you have predetermined, set, reoccurring times that you meet. My best friends these days are people that like I've 3 other women I play pickleball with every Wednesday. I know I'm gonna see them. We don't have to, like, check our calendars. It's just gonna happen. And this mastermind, like, I know I'm gonna see them even though it's just once a month, it's such a meaningful, like, 3 hours where we share what we're celebrating, what we're lamenting, what we're hungering for. And so I think in motherhood and adulthood, it is so hard to plan to see somebody. There's so much friction and it's so hard to make happen. So having some reoccurring things like, hey, could we meet first Saturday of every month to go for a walk? We can always cancel it, but like, can we put that on the calendar? That is my recommendation to you, my wise woman thought for the night. So good to be with you. Thanks for joining my little podcast. And don't be a stranger. Talk to you soon. Bye.